Good Monday. After a couple of dreary, wet, and yesterday record record low high temperature, we're going back up to some normal temperatures. I think it's going to be in the mid 80s today, which is still a little bit low, but considerably drier than it's been. So I will be doing some work out here. The elderberries are ripening. I'm thinking I'm just going to leave them for the birds this year because I have plenty of elderberry tincture and cordial and that sort of thing. Everything else is doing pretty well. I did end up putting a fishing line kind of fence along here for the deer because they were getting in at my tomatoes and my cucumbers and some of the squash when I would neglect to keep putting the repellent on the plants. So I'm doing both now. You can see they were even getting at my butternut squash plants here. But I cleared all this out. There was a lot of poppy stuff and weeds, and this is all shiso. So I want to make a Korean pickled shiso that uses soy sauce and a bunch of other stuff. So I need to pick some of those. The figs are all on the tree, but they're not ripening yet. There's a lot here, but none of them have started to ripen. A lot of these mini sunflowers are starting to bloom. The mammoth sunflower is opening up, which is this one over here. So these all continue to bloom. Just kind of amazing. I need to pick the seed pods on this hollyhock, and I want to remove the sweet peas. I was picking some of the seed pods. They're still blooming, but I want to grow some other stuff up these trellises. I have a bitter melon right here, and I wanted to see if I still had more bitter melon seed, but I also have some morning glory on both of these. These nasturtiums are finally taking off in the little stump planter. These are all the Queen Anne's lace-ish flowers. Zinnias are blooming. I need to get out the forage. What else is here? This is a new bed with some mini corn and pole beans, so I need to put up a support for the pole beans. Everything else in here, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to putter about out here with supports and different things. So I will be out here doing that. This coneflower, I keep wanting to get them to flop the other way, but they don't want to do that because that's not towards the sun, so they know better. There's another Queen Anne's lace over here, and the tansy are starting to bloom. This angelica's, or there's a couple in here that are doing okay, which I'm glad, because the ones I had in the planter with the sunflowers back there, a little vole got a lot of them. Still waiting on these hibiscus. Still waiting to see if the chicken of the woods comes up. I don't know if it will. Some of the blackberries are starting to ripen, but not very quickly. And here, it's just a really nice day out. This is what I did so I could get into here. I sort of overlapped these guys so I can just kind of squeeze right in there. I don't know for sure yet whether it's working because I have been spraying some of the repellent too. I've got some new squash plants coming up in here because some of these are just not, they're not producing, and I know they've got squash vine borer, so I'm going to need to get some of them out of here. This poor marigold. These guys have really put on nice growth finally. Here are these eggplant. They're starting to bloom. And my little pimento peppers are turning red. Deer have been getting my okra, so I'm hoping that now that I have these fish line deterrents that they'll leave them alone. These basil are doing pretty good. Something's chewing on some of them. More of the shiso. Lots more of the shiso. Cucumber. That is Thai basil there. Got some weeds around there too. All these guys were volunteers, which is cool. And I just keep deer and whatnot, critters have gotten the lower tomatoes, so I'm still, well, there's one that's starting to ripen. Hopefully I'll start getting some of these. Another one of my marigolds. There's an eggplant over there on that one. And I have these little, like, whatever they're called. They're little tiny cucumbers. They're Mexican cucumbers. They look like little watermelons. So I hope to grow those up. Those little trellises there that I had peas on. Let's see. Let's go out back. Avery! Oh, you're right there. Another sunflower there. So yeah, so that's the front. Avery, come on. This way. Let's go out back. Come on. Avery, come on. My little Viola odorata. They're still alive, so that's good. And it looks like my sweetgrass is going to be putting up seed stalks. Oh, and the hops tangle. More figs that I'm waiting to ripen. These guys seem to be doing okay. The St. John's wort and these other sunflowers. These, I think that's Japanese beetle damage on those. So I bought some nematodes, but I gotta get them in the ground. Come on. And my sweet potato vines right here in amongst some nettle that has grown back, and potatoes, and a little cannabis plant from my neighbor, which is growing nicely. And that's about it on this lovely Monday morning.